Hello, people of YouTube. My name is Steve Gray, and thank you for watching. If you're new here, well, sit back and enjoy the ride, I guess. Today we're talking about Jujutsu Kaisen. What episode are we on today? We are on episode 19 of Season 1. I get a little bit mixed up with my episodes because I got 5 different shows I review, as I have said before. And I think a couple of them are on the same episode now. I think Promise Neverland and Dr. Stone was this week because of the 5.5 thing with Promise Neverland. But without further ado, let's get into it. So we start off this with Fujiguro, Inumaki, or Toji, and Koma all going after... Gotta scroll down to get my name here. Hanami, the cursed spirit. So most of their attacks are literally doing nothing to Hanami, and this is pretty much the first half of the episode. And actually, the introduction threw me off something fierce in this episode because, like, it happens like I think it was like 6 or 7 minutes into the episode. It's like boom, introduction. So Toji isn't really as strong as I initially thought he was. He's still not talking in complete sentences. He can freeze Hanami and blast away Hanami, which is pretty good. But, you know, he can't really do anything more than kind of delay the inevitable. He can't physically attack anything, which kind of sucks. So, you know, that kind of is what it is. Can't physically attack anything. He's not doing any hands up, panda style, close combat style fighting. But he is strong in retrospect because he is the only one that can actually stop Hanami out of these three. Fujiguro, his attacks really aren't doing anything at all. In retrospect, they're pretty much doing completely nothing, unfortunately. And then you got Kamo. His attacks finally do something. You know, he only has one eye open at this point. So Fujiguro realizes, oh, this guy wasn't even really taking me seriously. That's kind of concerning because that makes me think I'm a little bit weaker. We also learned that with Fujiguro's powers, he has 10 Shinigami he has access to, and they kind of work like phoenixes by the sound of it. And basically, when one dies, it gets reborn into another one, so it kind of is reborn from its ashes. At least that was my general understanding of it. Hanami, we also get some more information. I think it's a her. I'm going to go with it. It's a her for the sake of this. And she was born, obviously, out of, wanting to protect plants. Everybody has the hatred for the environment. Some of these big businesses and corporations do. So the greedier you are, the more powerful the spirit is. And she was talking with Mahito, and Mahito was like, you're a lot stronger than you really think you are, right? But I don't think you actually enjoy the fight because Hanami has never actually had to fight anybody that is on par with her, where she can actually be excited about a fight. So every person and everything that she's killed up until this point, which we don't really know what that is, it has been weaker than her because Hanami is disgustingly full of cursed energy and disgustingly powerful. So everybody's getting their butt kicked. Fujiguro, Kamo, Toji. Let's see. There's one girl whose name I am forgetting here. Oh, Maki. All of them are getting their butts handed to them pretty good. And then we get to about halfway through the episode, and then here comes Todo and Itadori. Here we go. Here's the action. And Itadori got a lot stronger with his fight in Todo. Todo was like, we become best friends. Itadori says, now we're best friends. So they are best friends. So it was kind of interesting because Itadori now is kind of on... I don't know if he's as strong as Todo at this point because we know Todo is crazy strong. But Itadori is definitely on another level now at this point in time. He has surpassed a large amount of people. He has a new attack called Black Flare, which is similar to what Gojo has. So we know Gojo's, he has dimensional where he can suppress people from actually touching him because he can, with his crazy infinite dimension thing, And what Itadori's power Black Flare does is he punches them. It almost looks like this kind of crazy black Chidori looking thing, black and red Chidori from Naruto, if you're familiar with that. And there was an image where Toto was explaining it, and if it gets a direct hit, it morphs them into it and kind of compresses it. Almost kind of like a black hole sucking everything up. Think of that, but on a much smaller scale. And he does land a hit. It rips Hanami's arm completely off, but because Hanami's a special grade, heals in half a second. No problem whatsoever. And Toto's like, yeah, that's second grades for you. I mean, you landed a good hit, and it's going to eventually run out of cursed energy and die, but it's going to take a long time. Meanwhile, Hanami is like, these two are different from the other people I fought and the other ones I've fought before. There's something different about them. Saying, Toto doesn't have as much cursed energy. Itadori doesn't have as much cursed energy. It'll only be a problem if he turns into Sukuna at some point in time, which we haven't seen Sukuna in quite a while. We know about that pact a while back with Sukuna and Itadori, where if Sukuna says this one word, he becomes a cursed, it becomes Sukuna. So we haven't seen that actually happen yet. And I think it might happen. I think what they're trying to do is, kind of get, at the same time, kill Gojo with his barrier, also get Sukuna out. Because we don't really know what their plan is. We haven't heard what their plan is. But Itadori gets really hot-headed at Hanami. He asks, hey, are you of the same legion as Mahito? And Hanami's like, what if I said I am? And he gets really, really hot-headed, where actually Toto has to interfere and slap Itadori in the face a couple of times. And he was like, look, anger is important, anger is good, but if you get too angry, it interferes with your curse energy. So at the same time, you can use anger to a certain extent to fuel your attacks, but you have to have a little bit of level-headedness in there as well, or your attacks aren't going to hold as much of a punch, and you could kill yourself or others in the process. And, it gave Itadori a great lesson. He was like, yes, my best friend, let's do it. It was also interesting because Toto was like, yeah, I'm just going to let you die if you don't make a hit with Black Flare to prove to me that you're worthy to be my friend. I thought that was pretty freaking hilarious, and he landed a hit. So now they are both fighting this special grade together, and there is a real possibility that they should be able to defeat Hanami together. Individually, I don't think they would be able to. I mean, they'd be able to wear Hanami down to a certain extent, no problem. But together, they should be able to definitely defeat her. We also learned that her arm wrapped up is like a giant black arm with a huge flower on her shoulder. I'll make sure to, I believe I have that in one of the images that I screenshotted for having throughout the video. And she just has a disgusting amount of cursed energy. He thought he was manipulating the ground, and no, she was just manipulating this ball of kind of twigs, or thorns rather, as cursed energy, and shooting it out all over the place, and they end up getting, higher and higher and higher off the ground, where Itadori and Toto don't even realize it. And then she sucks it all away and tries to attack them as they're falling, but they use curse energy off each other's feet to bounce away from it and dodge the attack, luckily. And that's when Hanami's like, I need to take these people seriously. They are definitely on another level than the other people I was fighting previously. So I am curious how high of a grade Itadori is going to get at the end of this. I'm thinking they're going to they may make him grade 1, depending on how he fares against Hanami in this battle. If he's on par with Toto, I believe Toto is the only, he's either a grade 1 or like a grade 1.5, somewhere around there, or 2.5. I'm forgetting exactly how the grading system works. I think he's like in between 2 and 1, but he's not fully 1, if I remember correctly. Or he may be the only grade 1, if I'm trying to remember exactly what his grade are. But I don't know if he's going to be on par or just slightly below Toto. Well, I'll just have to wait and see how that whole situation ends up panning out. But then, kind of the episode ends, and that's basically, the episode ends mid-battle, and we're going to have a lot more fighting next episode. Jogo, Mahito, we didn't get to see the Rockstar fight, so my guess is, I don't know if it's going to pan back and forth, or it's going to just completely focus on Itadori, because it seems like it's been focusing on one fight primarily per episode throughout this arc. Panda and the mechanical dude, Itadori and Todo, the two sisters fighting each other. And then you got Fujiguro and Keimo fighting each other. It seems like it doesn't pan back and forth, like we've seen with some other anime where it goes from one fight for a couple minutes, then goes to another fight for a couple of minutes, so on and so forth throughout the episode. And I kind of like that. I kind of like that it's sticking to one fight. But, I kind of want to see that old principal dude with the guitar, because I don't know if all of you know this, but I have a guitar channel as well, Gray's Guitars. I'm sure you see it once in a while when you click on my main channel. And I just want to see how he uses curse energy through a guitar to just like murder people. But we also got a Jujutsu scroll at the end of this, like we always do. And the guy that whose name we don't know exactly, I think he might have mentioned it. He's got the hammer, and he wants to make people into a coat rack. Mostly Gojo. I'm going to throw up a picture of that as well and show you the coat rack that he wants to make out of Gojo. And Miito's like, hey, what kind of coat rack? He was like, I would use the torso and the spine. I would break apart the femurs for 4 legs, and then I would include wood elements as well to make it look kind of classy. It's like, oh, that's creepy, human skeleton furniture. But at the same time, somebody made a human skeleton guitar not too long ago, so I don't know if that would even surprise me if somebody made a human skeleton into a coat rack. I'm sure with the messed up world that we live in, it has been done before, unfortunately. Great episode overall. This one's getting a 9 out of 10. I am very stingy with perfect scores because there's always room for improvement. But yeah, that's kind of like a teacher-esque vibe in me, I guess is the best way to describe that. But maybe even, I will say 9.5 out of 10. So close, but could have been a tiny, tiny bit better. I would have liked to see the principal mentioned at some point in time in the episode, and he wasn't at all, because that's kind of where we left the last episode, as he, broke out the guitar case. Here comes the friggin' flying V electric guitar, and then Itadori fight. So I would have definitely liked to see him in there. If they even mentioned him a little bit, I probably would have given it a 10 out of 10, just so you can see where my scoring mechanism goes. So I think that pretty much sums up this review. If you like this Jujutsu Kaisen episode 19 review, hit that like button, comment down below what you would like me to do for future anime cartoon related videos, subscribe to my channel, turn on that notification bell. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a good one.